So now our Dirtnali is all painted and it's time to put it back together, or at least try, and hope we don't have too many leftover parts. So the first thing we're going to do is destroy our truck with its stupid emissions. Sorry guys, it's still under warranty. I'm not deleting anything yet. Plug in the module, plug in the lines. Oh look, dirt. I have to clean it before I put it back on. We need to make room for new dirt. This is the skid plate for the DEF tank. So now we'll throw it back up there. So now we got the cover for the front. This is a new cover, our other one had a hole in it. Now onto the inside of the truck. I'm going to put the curtain airbags in. I got a set of used curtain bags. So we're going to pull the driver's side off, the old one. Mr. Spotty's back from vacation. Route our wiring harness where it belongs. Bolt all the hangers on. Now I'll move over to the passenger side. We'd already taken the back half of it off, so that was out of our way. Now I got to take those front few bolts out from the remainder of the old bag. I'll put our vents in the rear cab panel. Put our wiring harness on. Bolt our module to the panel. Run our wiring harness on our B-pillar. Now we're going to change the adjusters for the seat belts on the B-pillar. They have little plastic tabs in them that break when the seat belts deploy. Not all the time, but most of the time. So just get new ones. They're relatively cheap, and they're the same right and left. I think they were like 25 bucks. The electric impact doesn't have enough power. So now we got our new headliner. Finding used ones is really difficult. Junkyards usually don't save them, and they're really hard to ship. So I had to go with a new one. Plus you get some of that new truck smell with it, so it's not such a bad deal. These are the clips for the sun visors. Just stick a pick in the holes and bend the tabs back a little bit, and they pop out from the bottom. This is the microphone for the hands-free. To save our little felt. There's a couple little tabs in there you just release and press down in the center. That outside clip will pop off. And just fish it down through there. I'll put it back in our other headliner. Just pushes on. Same thing with the sun visor clips. Just push the little clamps back on. Now we're going to pull the wiring harness off our old headliner. It's glued on, so you just kind of peel it off. If you're careful, most of the glue will stay on the headliner. You can try to do this inside the truck, but it's kind of a pain. I like to make sure everything's in its place, which is hard to do when you're working above the headliner, below the roof. Got some extra glue on our wiring harness, and they'll just peel it off. We don't want to try to stick glue to glue. We'll lay our wiring harness about where it goes. He helps too. It's arts and crafts time. We're going to glue our wiring harness on. Goes pretty quick. Just put the glue on the headliner, push the harness out into it, hold it for a few seconds till the glue hardens, and you're done. Move on to the next part. I've seen some people tape them on. I guess it really doesn't matter. I prefer to do it the way the factory did, so we don't have anything rattling up there. Tape gives up over time. Plug in our microphone. Put our little felt piece on over the top. It's to keep that piece from bouncing between that and the roof skin and making noise. We'll finish gluing the rest of our harness on.
I waved to all my fans.
Sure, edit that out.
No, you gotta leave it.
Now we're going to put the headliner in. We'll go through the back window since it's out anyway. It will fit through the back door, that's how I took it out. But this is so much easier. To plug in the third brake light, which isn't exactly easy, but these things are known to leak, so if it doesn't leak, I don't want to take it out. I'll struggle with the plug. The back has clips, you just pop them in. Now we can put our grab handles in, that'll hold the rest of it up. Now we'll put the rear interior light in. Just plugs in and pops in. Fold up our grab handles. Put the screws in the visor clips. Close the little doors on the back. Plug in our camera and rear view mirror. Put the cover back on. Now we put the overhead console in. Just snaps in the front, 2 screws in the back, and put the cover back on. Just snaps in. Make sure we don't have any presents up there. Now we can put the sun visors in. Plug in the lights. My little helper out of the way. It's just 3 screws. Put the cover back on. One side down. Same thing on the driver's side. Cover back on. Now for the fun part, routing the wiring harness. You got a fork to kind of guide it down in there. I can see where it goes, I just can't reach it. Try doing it with a fish wire, doesn't work. So, just a little bit of patience and some swearing. And finally you get it in there. I took the retainer clips off just to give myself a little more room. I don't think they'd fit with it on there. So you just snap them back on. All right, clip it back into the A-pillar. Put our door gasket back up. Now we'll plug in everything up on the top of the dashboard. Put our top trim panel on. Plug in our daylight sensor. And clip it down. We put the panel back on. And forget that that wiring harness ever happened. Put our A-pillar trim on. You have to work the door gasket over the edge of it. Sometimes it goes in, but most of the time you got to pull it out. Bolt it in. Put our caps on. I'm going to do the same thing on the driver's side. Bolt it in. Pull our gasket out. So I had a lot of comments about I can send the airbag module out and have it reset. And it only costs $50. Rather than doing that, I think I'll just save the $50. This code right here, B0052, is the one that stays stored. All those other ones will go away when I plug everything in. Right now the interior is out of it and my airbags are disconnected. We'll go ahead and clear all these codes, and if that 52 doesn't come back, then we're good. Let's see what we have now. Okay, so all the rest of these codes are just current codes because we have the truck apart. But that 52 is gone. So as soon as we put the truck back together, Should be all good to go. Didn't even need to send it out. Most of the newer GMs, most of the newer cars, period, allow you to do this. For a while, they did lock the modules, and that's when you send it out to have it reset. But manufacturers have changed it so you can just clear out the codes like it used to be. Unfortunately, those companies that reset modules don't tell you this is how easy it is, but this is how easy it is. We're going to change the bracket for the wiring harness inside the rear door. It was all crushed. The wiring harness was fine, but the bracket was destroyed. And I had a leftover one from the mistake truck. I don't even know if you could buy this. Luckily, I didn't have to find out. Since we're here, we'll rust-proof our rear door, since we're going to have to work in there. We'll put it together later when this stuff dries, so I'm not working in a big mess. So I found some more holes that they left us in our truck. This is where they ran the wires for the head unit for the radio. It's in the back of the console. Rather than repairing it, I'm just going to replace it. And the reason being is, if you put anything in this pocket, it's headed for Narnia. So to keep stuff from collecting under our console, we're going to fix it. I have a leftover piece from the mistake truck, so we're just going to pop it out and put the new one in. So there's 4 screws in the back. And it just pops up. Disconnect the cigarette lighter. There's 3 screws across the bottom, 2 on the sides, 2 on the top. Better go clean it. That's better. Now all the clean freaks don't have to dislike the video. Put our screws back in. I learned that move from the Fonz. Yeah, I'm that old. Now we're going to throw our carpeting in. Literally, throw our carpeting in. Put our sub in. Plug it in. Bolt it down. Now we got the bracket for the dashboard. Just got 3 bolts in it. Throw the rear carpeting in. We can put our seat belts in after they were rebuilt. I'm not advertising who rebuilt them because they're not paying me. Bolt our B-pillar trim in. Put the caps on. I'll put the lower trim on. Now onto the passenger side. Bolt the bottom in. Bolt the top in. Plug it in. Cut the zip tie and hopefully not the seatbelt. install our upper V-pillar trim. Fish the seatbelt through the hole. Bolt it in. Put our caps on. Now we're going to throw our center console in. Two bolts in the front, two on each side at the bottom. A little more cleaning. I've had more time in cleaning this truck than I do in building it. And that's not even my job. Put our side trim on. Yes, I clean the other side too. I'm going to put the upper trim on, plug it all in, just pushes in. Put our other B-pillar trim on, passenger side. All the paper is still on there because it hasn't been buffed yet. It's a lot easier to get all the compound out when the paper's still on there, since I've already cleaned enough. Putting our driver's seat in. Bolt the seatbelt on. Bolt the seat down. Put the headrest in. Now we're going to put this protection strip on the back of our cab. There's a rubber strip on the bed that rubs up against this. So this is to keep the paint from rubbing through over time. And here's that rubber strip. I think they put it on there so you can't see that they don't paint the back of the cab and the front of the bed. Drop the bed down on there. Put our filler neck back in. Don't drop any screws in it. I haven't yet, in case you're wondering. The day is coming though. Now we're going to put our front door back together. Before we do, I'm going to rust proof it. Some of our cavity wax in there. Pull the water barrier down so we can get the rest of it. I'll put the door handle on. The rubber gasket in the back first. Clip the front end. And these you have to push the tab out a little bit to get the back of it to slide in. And put the cap on. Screw it in. And put the cover on. Now we put our window weather stripping in. Just pushes in. Slide our door glass in. Hopefully without messing up our new paint. Or the tint. And we're going to put the mirror on. Too soon, Junior. I put the belt molding on first. So we just left the mirror loose so we could slide it underneath. Screw the belt molding in. Now we can bolt the mirror on. Put our window sweep in, the inside, and the upper trim. Make sure that our window is sitting in the regulator properly. Now we can bolt it in. Put our caps back on and our water barrier up. Plug in our door panel and door handle. And push it on. Screw it all in. All of our little caps back on. Our awesome fake wood. Now we're onto the back door. Put the door handle in. Same way as the front. Same door handle actually. Put our rear cover on. Screw it in. We're going to put the weather stripping in. The door gasket. Got to pull the door check out because it goes behind it. Just take the one screw off. Whip it behind there and bolt it back in. And then continue. One gasket across the bottom. I'm going to throw the regulator in. Put our clips in for the top of the door panel. Now we're going to take our old door apart. For everyone that wasn't sure how I remember to put these back together, this is how I cheat. If I forget, I have another door to look at. But I need the wiring harness. Take that, water barrier. I'll fish the wiring harness out. Put it in our new door. Route it wherever it goes. And start clipping it in. The airbag sensor in there. Yes, I am screwing it backwards. I'll put our window weather stripping in. Just clips into place. Put our window in from the inside. Put our rear window track in. And make sure the window works. Put our little cube back in there. secret window entry point. And put our upper trim on. Clip it on the inside. And that kind of folds around the outside. And pull the gasket out from under it. And we got a new belt molding for the rear. Our used door had a black one. We have chrome ones. Because our truck is fancy. It's classy. Bolt the front end. If you lower the window, it makes it easier to clip it in. Make sure our window still works. And throw the speaker in. Put our water barrier on. The one we didn't tear in half. There's alignment tabs. You line up the holes, and then right there where my thumb is, there's a little hole in the water barrier and the door, and they kind of line up. So if you line those up and push them in, the rest of it should be in the right spot. And just take your time and make sure it's all stuck on there. Feed the wires through, plug in our door handle, put our door panel on. Bolt all the door panel in. Check our window again. I'm expecting a problem, I guess. Put our fancy wood trim on there. And in the pile. There you go. There's the legendary pile. Everything, with the exception of the dashboard that was out of a burned terrain, is from this truck. The cab, the bedside, everything I cut up, it's all in there. So we'll take it to the scrapyard, get a few bucks for it. So like the video if you found it interesting. Share it if you think somebody else might. Subscribe if you want to see more of this build and the other pile associated with it. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.